Hey, and welcome back to Chiropractic Personal Injury Marketing. Again, I'm Dr. Paul, and this is the Chiropractic Marketing Injury System that includes documentation training and includes 10 marketing systems. Now, the one marketing system that I want to go into detail right now is called insurance videos. And let me share with you how that works. And really, it's typically the second place that a patient will go when they're looking for a chiropractor. And essentially what happens is, and this is how you get business, personal injury cases is on the internet. But essentially what happens is we have videos on the internet for every insurance company that is in your area for major medical and personal injury. Now what happens is people will Google, they've been trained through major medical insurance, they will Google their insurance provider and they're looking for two things. First, they're looking for a chiropractor who's on their list. And the reason they're doing that is because they know it'll be less expensive if they deal with a provider than a non-provider, okay? Number two, then they'll look for which one is the closest. That's what we look for when we're looking for insurance. So here's what they'll do is they'll Google their insurance company and they'll Google one of three words. They'll Google either, first of all, their insurance company, like let's say as an example, Allstate. And oh, by the way, they'll do this for the personal injury insurance carriers just as well as the major medical, because the major medical has trained them. So even though it's not true, there's not, insurance doesn't have providers, specific providers for personal injury. So it's not true, but they don't know that. They'll still Google their personal injury insurance looking for a provider. And essentially what we want to do is when they put in those keywords, what we want to happen is that your video comes up, what is called above the screen, in other words, in the first 5 slots. And what we're trying to do is get them to hit on our link before they hit the Blue Cross Blue Shield link or the Allstate link, whatever it is, okay? Now, and then when they do that, we want to answer the top 4 questions that they have. The patients will have these questions. They'll have, what does it cost? First of all, do you accept my insurance? Then they'll ask, what does it cost for treatment? What's the copay? What's the deductible? And will you bill the insurance for me? So those are the 5 questions that have to be answered. Now, in that video, that's what we answer, those 5 questions. And then right after that, we give them an offer. And the offer makes it easy for them to take the next step and give you a call, make an appointment, okay? That's how that works. Works pretty good, actually. Now, what happens is we do that for every insurance company. So we'll do that for the major medical insurances, and then we'll do it for all the auto insurance carriers. And then we, what's called SEO, search engine optimize that video. Now, I already have the material. We already have it, okay? So we already have everything. And so it's a very easy screen capture voiceover. We personalize those videos. We put your name in there, your office, your phone number in those PowerPoint presentations. They're already done. And then it's just a voiceover on the screen that captures it, that creates that video. And that's how that video is created. Now, then we do what's called SEO the video. We upload it to YouTube and we search engine optimize it for those keywords. And here's the keywords that they'll put when they're looking. Obviously they'll put the name of the insurance company. And then they'll add to that 1 or 2 combinations. They'll add like chiropractor, when they're looking for a chiropractor, on their plan. So they may put like Allstate chiropractor. And then another thing they'll do is they'll put Allstate chiropractor and then your location. See, that's what they'll do. That's how they're looking for that information. So we SEO that video for those keywords. It says like Allstate insurance chiropractor, your location. So when they type those keywords in, boom, your video pops right up. And that's how we get those patients. And most people will watch click on the link to a video before they click on any other link, especially if it's titled properly with the keywords that they put in the search engine. Well, that's what happens with insurance videos. And typically you're talking about 5 to 7 major medical insurances. And you're usually talking about maybe 10 to 15 auto insurance carriers. And by the way, we do this with workers' compensation too, if you do workers' compensation. But that is one specific strategy. Now, it's the second strategy. Remember, when patients typically go to a chiropractor, they typically will follow a format of one of 5 flowcharts. They'll ask a friend, family member, they'll Google their insurance company, they'll Google chiropractor local, they'll Google their condition, local, and then they'll sign. So that's typically the flow chart of where patients go as they're trying to pick a chiropractor. Well, you want to be right in the mix. So if every time you're not in one of those positions, you're just losing that amount of new patients for your area. So if you do not have insurance videos, you're not going to get any of those patients. They're going to go to the other providers. And so that is that's just a few more and by the way, that's automated. Once it's done, it's done. You know, it's like, you just leave it alone and there it is, okay? That's one of the systems. It's the second system that the new patient who's looking for a chiropractor will typically go, all right? Especially personal injury. They'll Google their personal injury insurance. Well, if they're Googling their personal injury insurance and then behind that asking for chiropractor and location, they're obviously, been in an auto accident and they're looking for care for a local chiropractor. That's how that works. So that's one of the 10 marketing systems we use. That's how we use it, that's why we use it. It's all reverse engineered. Marketing's always about the patient, what they want, where they're at. It's always about the patient. It's never about chiropractic. And so that's how that works, okay? So again, that's one of 2 separate systems. So remember, it's all inclusive. So we have the documentation component that we teach that teaches the 5 financial drivers of Colossus, okay? Because you got to know how to document the cases. Number 2 is you got the 6 steps to tell the story. This is exactly how I won every case right here. I can take bad documentation and win cases with that alone. Number 3 is how to defend the case. So there's two areas that the insurance company is going to try to decrease that value of that case. So we teach you how to document to get ready for it, to defend it. So not only to support it, defend it. Well, that's the documentation you have to know for that soft tissue injury. So we teach that first. And then we have 10 systems. Remember, we got 10 systems. This is a comprehensive system. We have the personal injury attorney educational sales. That's the mother lode. That's 80% of all personal injury business right there. We have the medical doctor educational sales. We have the website that includes YouTube videos. We have Facebook pay-per-click. We have newspaper marketing. We have what's called the video newsletter. It's a personal injury video that goes out in an email to your past patients. It's personal injury. It's polling personal injury patients. Then we have what we just covered, which was the insurance videos. And then Google for Business, the condition videos when they Google their particular problem. And the office, a proactive office sign that specifically targets personal injury patients. Because remember, 2% of all that traffic going up and down your street is in auto accidents every year. So those are the 10 systems. So it's the marketing. And remember, it's delivered in multiple ways. Number 1, we have what's called fast start. We have fast start videos. So as soon as you jump on board, we have what's called a fast start program to get you to $100,000 in 90 days. So we start with fast start videos, and that's what we start with right there, the documentation. Number 2 is we do the live webinars every Tuesday, okay? And if you miss it, they're recorded, so we send it back out within 48 hours. So then also, when you become a client, I hold your hand for the first 90 days. So we talk once a week for the first 90 days, and there's only one goal. And that's to get your practice over $100,000 in 90 days with this marketing. That's it. That's the goal. And I make sure that you're doing the exact steps to get you there the fastest. Remember, I've done this. I've opened 77 offices in 20 states. I know what it takes to get from point A to point B. So the personal phone calls, the quick start videos, the live webinars, and then I told you we have 2 seminars every 6 months on the East and West Coast. One seminar is based on documentation and marketing. The other one's based on narrative reports and depositions. Now, what's kind of unique is you learn all that material through the videos and webinars. So it's not like you have to wait for a seminar. That's not what happens. You learn immediately. But what happens with the seminars, it's much easier to tie everything together when I can talk to a group of people for 6 or 8 hours, for 2 days in a row, versus a 1 hour slot in a webinar. See, so I can still cover the material, But man, when I have continuous time, we can put it all together, and it actually is easier to understand and make sense. And that's what everybody says that comes to the seminars, because we cover it in videos and webinars and all that. But they'll come to the seminar and go, "Oh yeah, that just made everything, that tied everything together so clean." And that's typically the response I get. So that is how we get your practice over $100,000 in 90 days. That's how we get your business over $300,000 by the end of the first year. And remember, I have clients that are doing $1 million plus a year, and they did this within 1 year. From only one of these 10 marketing systems. That's the personal injury attorney educational sales, because that's the mother lode. So even if you just did one thing and one did well, you'll do fine. And remember, you only need 3 personal injury cases a month, only 3 from all this, to increase your business over $100,000 a year if your case average is $3,000. And that's pretty normal. So this is not difficult. This is not difficult. And now if you don't know what you're doing, like anything, it's difficult. If you don't know documentation and you don't know marketing, well, yeah, it's difficult. That's not the case. We know exactly what we're doing. So again, if you're not doing this, if you don't know the 5 financial categories and you're not documenting them, this is when you don't know this, and I said it before, this is how you know whether you really do or don't know documentation. Because every doctor that calls me says they know documentation. But here's how you know. If your attorney's asking you to cut your bill, you don't know, you're missing major parts of documentation, because you're not creating the financial drivers and putting the case together well enough to increase the caseload to create a 3-to-1 ratio to where he doesn't even ask you to cut your bill. I never had my attorneys ask me to cut my bill. Never. Or if you're having the attorneys say, "Hey, you send me a patient and I'll send you one," that's bull. We don't have to send attorneys any patients, because it's very clear when we do the educational sales in this presentation that there's nowhere else to go but you. And if they don't pick you, they're going to easily see how much money they're losing. And that's what happens. And there's high motivation to use you. So that's the documentation component. This is the marketing component. And so remember, every one of these that you don't do, you're losing money. You're losing money. And so and really the way to do that is to start increasing the business, maximize your time in your office, so you're as busy as you want to be, and then you keep the marketing going, and then you hire the associate doctor, and then you hire your second associate doctor. And then you start working part-time if you want to, or even work 1 day a week. And that's how to run the business. That's how to continue to grow your business, quality of life. Because this is really about quality of life. I mean, you're doing personal injury to make money to increase the quality of your life. So remember, it's the cost for this program, all of the documentation, all 10 of the systems, videos, webinars, 2 seminars, all of it is the cost of 1 personal injury patient a year. One. What's the likelihood that I can't help you generate more than 1 new patient a year? Let me tell you, if I can't help you generate more than 1 personal injury patient a year, you should fire me. So we make it unbelievably affordable. It's only $397 a month for 18 months. $397 a month for 18 months. Turns out to be 1 personal injury case a year. That's what it turns out. And we do everything we can, hold your hand, weekly calls, to get you over $100,000 in 90 days. All right? Give me a call. We'll get you started. We'll do the orientation, get your documentation down real quick, and immediately start the marketing and get you over that $100,000 in 90 days. And this creates, and really what this is about, it's really not about personal injury. It's about creating financial security for your family. That's really what this is about. When you have a business that continually gets referrals, continually gets business, high-paying clients, good clients, it's about creating financial security for your family. That's really what learning personal injury is about. And that's what I teach. Give me a call. I'm Dr. Paul, 813-480-1693, and let's get you over to $100,000 in that 90 days. Give me a call. We look forward to hearing from you.